WWE is making the same catastrophic mistake they've made for decades. They finally find someone who can make the authority figure role work naturally and authentically, and they're already treating Adam Pearce like he's disposable. While wrestling fans have been begging for years to get away from the McMahon family drama and corporate power struggles that dominated television for far too long, WWE stumbled onto the perfect solution in Adam Pearce, and they don't even realize what they have. Right now, WWE's creative direction suggests they're about to throw away the best on-screen authority figure they've had since the peak of William Regal's GM run, and they're doing it because they fundamentally misunderstand what made Adam Pearce work in the first place. This isn't just about one performer's career trajectory, this is about WWE's complete inability to recognize organic success when it's happening right in front of them. The authority figure role has been wrestling's biggest creative albatross for over 2 decades, turning what should be a supporting position into ego-driven storylines that overshadowed the actual wrestlers. Every attempt to recreate the Mr. McMahon magic has failed spectacularly because companies keep trying to manufacture the lightning in a bottle chemistry that made that character work. Then Adam Pearce comes along and solves the entire problem simply by being professional, competent, and focused on putting the wrestlers first instead of making himself the center of attention. But here's what's going to make your blood boil. WWE's track record with authority figures suggests they learned absolutely nothing from the years of creative disasters that came from overexposing corporate characters. Instead of recognizing that Adam Pearce represents the evolution of how these roles should function in modern wrestling, they're positioning him like he's just another temporary placeholder until they can find their next big authority storyline. The genius of Adam Pearce's approach to the authority figure role is so simple that WWE's creative team apparently can't comprehend it. He makes matches, he enforces rules, he mediates disputes, and then he gets out of the way so the wrestlers can be the stars. This revolutionary concept of having an authority figure who actually acts like a sports executive instead of a power-mad dictator has made WWE programming feel more legitimate and sports-oriented than it has in years. Yet every indication suggests that WWE is already planning to move away from what's working in favor of the same tired authority storylines that killed audience interest for the better part of 2 decades. They're treating Adam Pearce's success like it's accidental rather than the result of finally approaching the role correctly, and their apparent plans for his future suggest they've learned nothing from their past mistakes. The professional wrestling experience that Adam Pearce brings to the authority figure role is something that previous holders of similar positions have almost never possessed. Unlike corporate executives or celebrity guests who were thrust into these roles without understanding wrestling psychology, Pearce actually knows how the business works from the inside out. His decisions feel authentic because they come from someone who understands what wrestlers need and what audiences want to see. This background should make him invaluable to WWE's creative process, yet they seem to treat his wrestling knowledge like it's irrelevant to his current role. Instead of leveraging his understanding of match psychology, storyline development, and audience engagement, they use him like he's just another actor reading lines written by people who don't understand wrestling as well as he does. The respect that wrestlers show Adam Pearce on screen feels genuine because it is genuine. Unlike the forced interactions we've seen with previous authority figures who commanded respect through scriptwriter fiat, wrestlers actually defer to Pearce because they recognize his credibility and expertise. This authentic dynamic creates television that feels real rather than manufactured, which is exactly what WWE should be prioritizing in an era where audiences can spot inauthentic content immediately. But WWE's creative team seems oblivious to why these interactions work so well. They see Adam Pearce getting good reactions and making segments feel more professional, but they apparently don't understand that it's his approach and background that make it effective. This fundamental misunderstanding is why they keep trying to fix problems with authority figures by changing the person instead of changing the approach. The calm professionalism that defines Adam Pearce's on-screen presence provides the perfect contrast to the chaos and emotion that drives wrestling storylines. Instead of adding to the drama through personal agendas and power trips, he serves as the stable foundation that allows wrestler conflicts to feel more important and meaningful. This supporting role approach is exactly what the authority figure position should be, yet WWE keeps trying to make these characters the focus rather than the framework. The international appeal of having a competent, professional authority figure is something WWE consistently undervalues in their global expansion efforts. International audiences who aren't familiar with wrestling's soap opera traditions respond much better to presentation that feels sports-oriented and legitimate. Adam Pearce's approach makes WWE programming more accessible to viewers who want athletic competition rather than corporate power struggles. Yet WWE continues to prioritize storyline approaches that cater to their most hardcore fans rather than the broader audience they claim to want to reach. Adam Pearce represents the perfect bridge between wrestling entertainment and sports presentation, but the company seems determined to abandon what works in favor of what feels familiar from their past mistakes. The backstage stories about Adam Pearce's professionalism and collaborative approach reveal exactly why he's been so effective in his role. Unlike previous authority figures who were accused of using their position for personal gain or ego satisfaction, Pearce is consistently described as someone who prioritizes what's best for the show and the wrestlers. This behind-the-scenes reputation translates into on-screen authenticity that audiences can sense even if they can't articulate why it feels different. The creative flexibility that Adam Pearce brings to his segments allows WWE's writers to focus on wrestler storylines rather than authority figure drama. Because he's not trying to get himself over or create personal feuds, he can adapt to whatever the storyline requires without making it about him. This kind of professional approach should be exactly what WWE's creative team wants, yet they seem more comfortable with authority figures who create their own drama and complications. The rating segments and audience engagement during Adam Pearce's appearances consistently show that viewers respond positively to his professional approach. Unlike the authority figure segments that often caused channel changes during the worst periods of corporate storyline overexposure, Pearce's segments maintain audience attention and serve their purpose without becoming show killers. Yet WWE's creative metrics seem to focus more on whether authority figures are generating controversy or social media buzz rather than whether they're effectively serving the storylines and maintaining audience engagement. This backwards approach to evaluating success is exactly why they keep making the same mistakes with these roles. The merchandise potential that remains untapped with Adam Pearce's positioning represents a missed opportunity that reveals WWE's fundamental misunderstanding of his appeal. Instead of marketing him as the competent, professional authority figure that fans have been waiting for, they treat him like a background character who doesn't warrant investment in brand development. The social media presence that Adam Pearce maintains strikes the perfect balance between professional and personable, giving fans insight into his approach without undermining his on-screen authority. This kind of authentic online presence should be the model for how WWE personalities engage with audiences, yet the company rarely leverages or promotes his digital content effectively. The training and development opportunities that Adam Pearce could provide to WWE's younger talent are being underutilized while he's positioned primarily as an on-screen authority figure. His knowledge of wrestling psychology, match structure, and audience engagement could benefit an entire generation of performers, yet WWE doesn't seem to fully utilize his expertise in talent development roles. The comparison between Adam Pearce's approach and the authority figure disasters of the past decade reveals just how simple the solution to this persistent problem actually was. Instead of trying to recreate lightning in a bottle with over-the-top characters and personal agendas, WWE just needed someone who understood wrestling and could present themselves professionally. The fact that it took them this long to figure out something so obvious is frustrating for fans who suffered through years of terrible authority storylines. The current landscape of WWE programming creates perfect opportunities for Adam Pearce's skill set, yet the company seems more interested in exploring new authority figure concepts rather than building around what's already working. As storylines become more complex and the roster continues to expand, having a competent authority figure who can manage multiple feuds and make logical decisions becomes increasingly valuable. The international expansion that WWE prioritizes makes Adam Pearce's straightforward, professional approach even more valuable for global audiences. His presentation translates across cultural boundaries much better than the corporate power struggle storylines that confused international viewers and made WWE programming feel too insider-focused for casual fans. Yet WWE continues to treat authority figure roles like they need to be reinvented rather than perfected. Adam Pearce has shown them exactly how these positions should function in modern wrestling, but their apparent inability to recognize and build around this success suggests they're destined to repeat their past mistakes with future authority figures. The business case for keeping Adam Pearce in his current role and building around his successful approach is overwhelming when you examine the metrics that actually matter. Audience retention during his segments, social media engagement with his content, and wrestler testimonials about working with him all indicate that he's achieving exactly what WWE should want from an authority figure. But WWE's decision-making process seems to prioritize change for its own sake rather than building around proven success. They've finally solved one of wrestling's most persistent creative problems, yet they appear ready to abandon the solution in search of something new rather than something better. The legacy implications of how WWE handles Adam Pearce's role will extend far beyond his individual career to the entire concept of authority figures in professional wrestling. He's proven that these roles can enhance storylines rather than overshadow them, support wrestlers rather than compete with them, and feel authentic rather than manufactured. Whether WWE builds on this foundation or abandons it will determine whether future authority figures succeed or fail. The streaming content opportunities that WWE continues to develop would be perfect for showcasing Adam Pearce's knowledge and professionalism in formats that go beyond traditional wrestling programming. Behind-the-scenes content, wrestler interviews, and educational programming could utilize his expertise while building his individual brand and demonstrating his value to the company. The current moment represents a crucial decision point for both Adam Pearce and WWE's approach to authority figures. They can either recognize what they have and build around the successful formula he's established, or they can repeat their historical pattern of abandoning what works in favor of what feels more dramatically exciting but ultimately damages the overall product. The fan appreciation for Adam Pearce's approach is evident in the consistent positive reactions to his segments and the social media support for his professional handling of on-screen conflicts. This kind of organic fan approval for an authority figure is incredibly rare and valuable, yet WWE seems to treat it like it's easily replaceable rather than something that should be protected and built upon. The technical aspects of how Adam Pearce structures his segments and manages on-screen talent reveal a deep understanding of wrestling psychology that most authority figures have never possessed. His ability to make matches feel important, resolve conflicts in ways that advance storylines, and maintain his credibility without overshadowing the wrestlers represents a master class in how these roles should function. The crossover potential that Adam Pearce possesses because of his legitimate wrestling background and professional presentation makes him perfect for mainstream media appearances that could help legitimize WWE's product to audiences outside traditional wrestling demographics. His ability to discuss wrestling from both performer and executive perspectives gives him unique credibility that most WWE personalities can't match. The time-sensitive nature of maximizing Adam Pearce's effectiveness in his current role makes WWE's apparent indecision even more frustrating. He's at the perfect point in his career to anchor the authority figure position for years while training the next generation of talent, but these opportunities won't last forever if the company continues to undervalue his contributions. The comparison between Adam Pearce's natural effectiveness in his role and the manufactured authority figures that WWE has pushed in recent years reveals just how valuable authentic presentation is in modern wrestling. Audiences can immediately tell the difference between someone who belongs in their position and someone who's been artificially elevated, yet WWE continues to prioritize artificial elevation over natural fit. The international business opportunities that remain unexplored because of WWE's underutilization of Adam Pearce's credibility represent millions in potential revenue from markets that respond better to professional sports presentation than entertainment storylines. His approach could open doors in markets where wrestling is viewed skeptically because of its entertainment elements. The creative solutions that Adam Pearce provides for WWE's storytelling challenges should make him indispensable to long-term planning, yet the company treats him like a temporary solution rather than a permanent foundation. His ability to make complex multi-wrestler storylines feel manageable and logical is exactly what WWE needs as their roster and storyline complexity continue to expand. The evidence is overwhelming that Adam Pearce has solved WWE's authority figure problem through competence, professionalism, and respect for the wrestlers and audience. Whether WWE recognizes this success and builds around it or abandons it for the same failed approaches that created problems for decades will determine not just his future but the future effectiveness of all authority figures in professional wrestling. The choice is obvious, the benefits are clear, and the time to act is now before they lose the perfect solution to a problem that took them decades